So we can abuse statistics in many ways and misuse them. Okay, I do not, by the way, I'm giving you names for these different types. You don't have to know these by the name. Eventually, when this comes test time, I will describe a situation to you, and you'll just have to tell me what possibly is wrong with this situation. But one of the things people tend to do is small samples. It's too much trouble to go out and sample as many people as they should, so they do just a few. There was a study one time, I don't remember what kind of toothpaste it was, and they came out with 7 out of 10 dentists recommend this particular kind of toothpaste. They only asked 10 of them, yeah. And it turned out 7 of them, some of them had connections to, they were on the board of directors or that corporation on top of it, so they kind of had an interest and wanted to say their toothpaste was best. So yeah, if there's 7 out of 10 dentists, it better be more than 10 that you talk to. But yeah, if you don't question it, if you don't ask how many people did you sample, how did you pick them? They can lie to you with this. They can do this. They pull this stuff all the time. Okay, another error that happens, precise numbers. If they're quoting you these exact decimals and fractions, that actually should be a bit of a worry, because if you've actually sampled, you know there's some error within your range of numbers. They shouldn't be giving you precise figures like there's one here, I'll give you an example. They did a study on the salaries of people in this corporation or business, and they got an answer of $37,735.29. If you're going to talk about the average salary, are you really going to take it down to the nearest cent?
No. Yes.
You're going to say it's $37,000 or $37,700. Giving something that accurate is sometimes a red flag that maybe something was up. But there was a little bit something strange in how those results were achieved. Okay, guesstimates happens all the time. You have some big event in a park. The example in here was at one point in time when the Pope visited Miami, and they were estimating the crowd at 250,000 people were there. But then they actually looked at the aerial photos and did a grid where you count how many people are in the grid and then take it times how many grids there are. Turned out there's only 150,000 there. So when people just make a guess as an estimate of what's there, that's a problem. That's the ones where you guys have, when you ask students to ask them a question where they're just giving you a guesstimate, not accurate. Okay, distorted percentages. It's pretty much what it says, misleading or unclear percentages. Tell me what's wrong with this statement. This was an airline, ran an ad about lost baggage. How often they lose your luggage. And the ad said, it's an area where we've already improved 100% in the last 6 months.
That means they won't
They got rid of it.
So they improved 100%.
So they...
How much luggage were they losing 6 months ago?
All
of it. If you have improved 100%, that meant 6 months ago you would have been losing every piece of luggage. So that was somebody using a percentage and not understanding what it meant.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you get something for free and you sell it for $40, what's your profit? Percentage what?
You got it for free. You got 100% gain. Actually, you got it more than that. It could be 1,000%. It could be whatever because you're divided by zero.
That's what I said.
Yeah. You're divided by zero.
He thought I was stupid.
Nope, you would be correct on that. Okay, deliberate distortions. Okay, what's deliberate mean?
On purpose.
On purpose, yeah. You intentionally distort the data. You want to sway it to look to give a certain image or an idea to people, so they actually intentionally distort your data. This is once again, this was an example from the business world. There was a travel magazine that supposedly did a study, and then they wrote this article about which was the best car rental company. and they labeled Avis as the winner as having got the best ratings from a survey of people they did. So then Hertz requested to see the information on the survey to see what information, where they got the data, and suddenly the magazine survey coordinator resigned, and the survey responses had been lost. What would you conclude?
That they were lying.
Yeah, they made up the data totally and completely. They got paid off by Avis to say they were the best. Who knows? But they could not produce the data, and no one there who knew how the data had been collected was there. All those people were gone. Highly questionable. Hertz actually did sue Avis and did win for false advertising on that particular issue. Okay. And then loaded questions. This is the one you guys have to be aware of when you're conducting your survey, because you could do this. A loaded question is a question that's worded so people give you the answer you want.
Yeah. Hey, I'll give you $5, tell me yes.
Okay. And let me give you an example of that. If I don't know if y'all know the government to do this. They did a survey asking people about whether the President of the United States should have a line item veto. Do you know what the line item veto is? Right now, the President either vetoes the entire bill, he either agrees to it or vetoes it. If it was a line item veto, he could go through the bill and he could take out certain lines of it that he doesn't like and leave the rest in.
No.
Okay, yeah, there'd be issues there. So they were asking people their opinion on it, but this is the question they asked them. They said, should the President have the line item veto to eliminate waste? Meaning wasteful spending. Why is that a loaded question?
Because it adds that last part.
Exactly. If they're priming you with to eliminate waste, well, of course we're all going to go, yes, we want to cut the waste in government. So of course you're going to say, yes, they should have the line item veto. You're swaying their opinion by that little extra add-on. They should have just said, should the President have the line item veto? And you don't sway their opinion with it. So be careful that you're asking a question that's not swaying them. They did a survey. They asked people, how many do you wash your hands after you've used the public restroom? Well, of course, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
Are you going to say, nope, I don't? So that's a problem.
If you're blank, you don't need to. Or misfill.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, misleading graphs. This is the one you see in the print media, on TV, but particularly in magazines and newspapers. I've showed you several times. You change the scale on a graph. You can make the bars look short. You can make the bars look tall. You can totally change how people think of a graph by how you change the scaling on it.
That's why you sway it your way.
Well, that's just it. People do a lot to sway it their way.
Hey, do you know who invented the infinity sign?
I want to say, was it Cauchy? C-A-U-C-H-Y?
Nope. Don't you dare touch it.
I won't. Okay. Actually, that example I just gave you about washing hands, that's pollster pressure. You survey subjects and you ask them a question that makes them want to look good. They want to make themselves look good. And so, yeah, if you ask them, do they wash their hands? Of course they're going to say yes. This study was quite some time back, as this data is old, but they did this, and 94% of people said they washed their hands, but when they actually were watched in a bathroom at a subway station, only 68% were washing their hands. I think that's changed because this would be a fairly old book. I think we're a little more interested in our health these days, so it's a little better. But I think I only have one more to go. No? Don't push it? No. She's still tight. Okay. We're hanging. And lastly, bad samples. You simply select a sample of people who don't match what you're studying.
So you're being prejudiced.
Well, it could be prejudice. Wouldn't have to be prejudice. when they, do those polls where they, let you, they call in, you know, they'll have a television show and they'll say, call in and vote on this particular issue. Particularly if it's a poll, some of those they'll use 900 numbers where you may have to pay 50 cents to put in your vote. Who are the people who are going to call in? People who have the money to spend, people who really care about that issue. People who are sort of ho-hum about it, they're going to take the time and the money to do it. So are you really getting a valid sample? No, you're not. So you got to make sure you get a sample that's a good sample. We should probably stop recording, you think? We're good. All right.